Hi guys, got something for you today. What it is I believe I had made mention of being curious about this on one or two of the other videos, but this is the Thompson Performance Power Plate, or I'm sorry, Thompson Performance Power Blast Plate. And what this is, they've created this little plate that bolts in to your carburetor and kind of takes that squirt uh, and disperses it a little bit so that you get higher atomization, or I guess a better atomization of the gas that goes in. So most people agree, at least what I'm basing this on is there's a couple videos out there anyway of guys that are trying this out, and most agree. It does a little something, gives you a little bit harder pull, and I think that would be great for a part that is 40 bucks. Nobody's paying me for this review. This is just something I've been curious about and I want to try out. It's a $40 part, which it's not free, but you know, 40 bucks. It's for a $40 part that's going to give you a little bit more pull. You can easily pay much more than that for a decent carburetor spacer. So I figured we'll try this out and see what happens. Hi guys. So in order to install this, first things first, we're going to need to remove this top plate. And in order to remove that, we're going to have to remove everything that prevents that from coming off. So all of these linkages for the accelerator pump, the linkage, the the choke linkage as well, and I'm going to remove the fuel line and just plug it for this. I don't want to try and leave things attached and have that just hanging off and flopping around. Basically what it is, all of these screws, they're just a number 20 Torx bit. I think this is the same size actually, to remove the the fuel metering rods. And I will be removing the fuel metering rods first, and just because when I pull this off, I don't want to have the possibility of bending or tugging or messing anything up. So I'm going to remove those first. They're the most delicate parts on this, so I'll remove those and then I'll get all the linkages off. Now get that fuel line off and plugged. Let me get just a little rag here, just in case it, of course it's gonna drip a little bit. It's all right, but just something to soak up the excess so it's not just pooling down there. Speaking of fuel, I might as well explain part of the reason I'm doing this so early in the morning. Well, it's not so early, it's already like almost 9, but yeah, that's pretty clean. And that is part of the reason I'm doing this when I'm doing it, is that my hope is that by doing this in the morning, I have not touched the pedal, I have not hit that accelerator pump, so what am I saying here? I guess what I'm saying is my hope is that these bowls, when I get this top cover off, are at least somewhat drier than they would be otherwise. Now, I'd like you, if you can, to pay attention to what I'm doing here, because you can see, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. You can see on there the location of the squirter that I'm going to be kind of blocking off with this little plate, and you can see there are 2 screws that need to be removed for me to mount this. It's going to be these 2 on either side of this this body here. Now, like I said, by hand is, to my mind, the best way to do this stuff. Reason being, you want to feel what each of your nuts and bolts is doing, especially if this is your first time taking it out. You don't know if these things have been over-tightened or stripped in any way. I mean, you can guess. I would like to believe that, no, there's no way that's going to be the case, but assuming things is, the more experienced you get at doing this, the more you realize assuming things is just not always smart. Now, before I set this down on there, I'm taking a minute to inspect it, because I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's a bit of, I don't know, just some crud on there that I'd really like to not be introducing to my fuel supply, just because, I don't know, why invite problems? So I've scraped that off of there, and be placing this in. This is the manner in which that goes in, and that looks to be doing its job. And same thing is true here with replacing these bolts. I am going, sorry if it looks like I'm a little shaky. You know what's happening is I'm standing on this step stool just because she's a truck. I have not lowered her yet. So for a short guy like me, I don't even know what my height is. I'm maybe 5'9". I don't even think I'm 5'10", but it's a little tough for me to get this far into the engine compartment without a bit of help. So I'm standing on this step stool, and it just is what it is. She's far away from me, and it feels like my feet are going to slip out, so I'm really trying to make sure I'm holding that guy in place while keeping my feet on the actual step stool. So. And again, when you're putting these in, you're only going into aluminum. Get them snug and creep up on it. Don't jam them down. All right. And when you put this back, when you put this top cover back, this should really just fall straight down, theoretically. There it is. Now you should notice too, when I was putting this back on, there's no forcing it. I just gave it a little wiggle, hoping it just falls right into place, which it did. That is the way things should go. If I'm having to force things, that means I'm off, and that's a big freaking no-no. Especially when it's avoidable. And it's just a matter of taking your time. Even when putting these things back in, not a lot of force. I'm not even using the handle. I'm just letting the screw find the threads and let it guide me down. Because we're just screwing into aluminum here, folks. It doesn't take much short. All right, well, get a little closer, you can hear me. All right, so she's all back together, she's running. Appears to be everything is cool, so I am going to let her warm up for just a minute, then I'm going to take her for a spin, see what I think. She feels smooth, and she does, I mean, pull maybe a tad harder than before, but I don't feel like it's a thing of power. I feel like it's a like it's an efficiency improvement, which is fine. That kind of goes hand in hand with the personality of this build. We've kind of been shooting for a torque and MPG thing. She does feel strong, and she feels strong. One thing I will say is I feel when you're kind of off idle cruising and then you step on her to accelerate, what I find is you don't have like a lag that you're waiting for. Sometimes you would step on her and she'd have just a slight lag before you feel her really kick in and do something. That's gone. You don't really have to wait for her. She feels like she's right there. But so it's not, at least on this setup that I have here, it's not exciting, but that's not terribly surprising. I think I've already said in other videos, the manifold I have on here, it's not exciting. There is power there, but it feels the same thing. Like I said, it feels like efficient power. It feels like this just kind of cranked up that efficiency, perhaps even just a little more, because she feels strong, kind of all over the place. She feels strong at idle. She feels strong taking off. She feels, strong at her sweet spot. But I know that because those are not exciting things, people are going to want to see how does she do entering the freeway or getting up to freeway speeds. So I'm just going to show you right here. Freeway entrance is coming up, and we'll just take a look at how she feels on the freeway. I've not been on the freeway with her before, so I don't know. We're all just finding out here. Be a little nicer if I had a bit of a open straightaway, but anyway, so my impression of that, like I said, not exciting, but truth be told, I think that was a little better than it was before I put it in. So are there benefits? Are there gains? Yeah, there are. They're not hugely exciting, but there are benefits. So take it or leave it. The cost of the part, like I said, it's $40. Installing the part, kind of just a breeze. And there are positive changes that were there. So with that being said, I think it is kind of nice because she does just feel solid I'm in the slow lane here. I'm just kind of cruising this thing, but she does feel solid. She feels like. Hi guys. So I just did some driving around on my wife's truck, and I want to give my closing impressions here of the little change I made by putting in the Thompson Performance Power Plate. I've got, just to talk about the setup again for those of you who don't know, I've got an SP2P318 manifold in there, which has these a lot of restriction due to these tiny little runners that are in there. It's a torque and gas mileage manifold, and I think I did say in other videos, I personally, it's nice. It feels nice. The truck feels strong. But overall, it's an unexciting manifold. So just keep that in mind as I talk about my impressions here. Sorry. Putting this in, she's stronger everywhere where you would expect to feel the difference from this little device that spreads out. It's only on the primary side, and it is spreading out the squirt fuel that comes in there, so that you will be getting a little bit better atomization. So for me on this setup, what it feels like is she's more efficient, and she's more efficient everywhere. And by that I mean stronger. It's if you're off idle and you tip it a bit, you may not necessarily be dipping into your secondaries, but even if you're not, you can feel it. That throttle response is there, because I think that ease of atomizing the fuel, she's already ready to go ahead and make more power. She just you don't really need to wait for the airflow to increase and it to do its thing. It just she's kind of already ready when you step on the gas to give you a little more. But she also feels strong. Anytime you're still in your primaries and you're just cruising, she maintains speed without difficulty. She kind of did anyway, but more so now. So the changes you would expect to be there, they're all there. But overall on this setup, I don't want to downplay it by saying she's unexciting. Honestly, the setup has done everything I was looking for it to do. Just I thought there might be a little bit more excitement there, but there's not. It's not a big deal. If you look around on the actual discussions and the forums on the subject of this particular manifold, that's almost what all of them say. It's, you might have some gains in MPG, might have a little bit more torque, but overall she's just not exciting. So that's what I have, and she's stronger everywhere that you would expect with this power plate in there. So for a $40 part with a relatively easy install, just takes a few minutes, I would say, yeah, it's worth it. I mean, if I had a more exciting setup in there, I'd be very interested in seeing what I get out of a part that I know gives improvements in all the areas it says it gives improvements. It's almost, that's almost unheard of, because most things that are put out there, they're put out there and there's a bunch of videos with all of this excitement and, oh yeah, wow, she feels better here, she feels better there. It's like, nah, well, she feels better and she feels better where expected. That's great, but it's also, it's not a small thing. I guess what I'm saying is there are a lot of products out there with all of this sensationalism. Some of them live up to claims, some don't, but they are all priced above $40. And I mean, this is not that big of a pain in the butt to do. So my advice would be pick one up. I'm not being paid for this. I'm not being paid to say it. The Thompson guys, I don't know them. They don't know me. They haven't asked me to do this. This was just, I had some curiosity because I know a couple of other guys have done videos saying, yeah, it does work. It gives a little bit more pull. I suppose on a more exciting setup, like I said, that might be exciting. For me, not terribly exciting, but it did what it said it was going to do, and it did it in the places it said it was going to do it. So, you know, I may continue playing around with my tune some, but I'm kind of getting to that point with this setup to where it's just becoming masturbation. I'm not pulling that much more out of this setup. I may still tinker with it because I'm a tinkerer, can't help it, it's what I do, but overall, not a bad product. It does what it says it's going to do for 40 bucks. Tell you the truth, I can't think of another $40 change you could do to your truck to make more power. I mean, maybe spark plugs or something, but I mean, you know, most of the carb spacers that are out there, they kind of start at 30 and then go up to ridiculous amounts, and not all of them do what they say they're going to do to the level they say they're going to do it. I feel this one did. So, yeah, hopefully that's helpful to you. And, you know, I was taking a look at some of the videos I'm putting out. I've only been doing these videos for, if you look back through my channel history, only about 2 weeks. But I'm surprised by some of the attention these videos are getting, so I'm glad to see that people are getting some value out of it. But if this was informative to you at all, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. It costs you nothing and it helps me out.